Hey guys, it's Archer, and it is nighttime again, which means we're doing a night recording, which means we're in here, which is different, but that's okay. So I want to talk about something that just happened, and by just happened, I mean I recently, just 5 seconds ago, just recorded this thing, and now I'm recording this video. So, I'm gonna give you, I can't really summarize it as little as I am going to do now, because it's kind of a story, but it's all important. So for you guys who don't know, uh, I go to this studio. I've been taking classes since I was in 7th grade, so I was 13. So I was taking classes in acting, in improv, sketch comedy, stage combat, and I think for like half a semester, I took a hip hop class, which was really difficult for my very poor rhythmed body. But it was fun. I would try every year to try a new class to. I'm gonna tilt you guys down just a little bit. Sorry, that's my hand. To try and learn something new because, a lot of students could take more than one class at the same time. People would be taking like 2 different dance classes and then a private vocal and something like that. But I could only really afford one class a year, so I would try every year to try something new, and that really, really worked out for me. Even whenever I didn't have, didn't have a lot of skill in acting and in theater as I thought I would. Like, yeah, for a long time, I thought that I could go on to a college and do theater professionally. Um, but, I'm not as skilled as other people are. I haven't been doing this as long as other kids have. Kids have been like tap dancing and doing ballet and singing since they were 3. I really only got started whenever I was in middle school, like late middle school. And I hadn't really taken but one class a year to really sharpen one thing. And that really wasn't enough, I guess. So even whenever I couldn't go on to do that and make it a career, I thought, well, it's okay. I have this studio. I have this studio where I can always go and take classes in different things. There's so much more that I haven't done yet. There are so many other classes I haven't taken, and a lot of musicals that I auditioned for were there. In fact, all of my shows that I auditioned for were at that studio, because my high school never had a theater department really to do a musical or a big production, so that was my place I could go to. And I thought that it would always be that way. I thought that I would always have the studio, even whenever, I got a normal office job. I would be able to keep that hobby up through the studio, but the studio is actually closing very, very soon. They're closing and they're going to be reopening as, a nonprofit, and they're going to be gearing a lot of their classes towards kids, which is really great. That's their focus, and they're going to keep it towards their target audience, not audience, their target demographic, which is kids, and they're going to really hone in on it. The bad news is that doesn't really leave anything for me. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm an adult. So I could always help out there, but really there are no more shows that I can do. And when I first heard about this, a lot of people that I knew were crying, and they were sad, and they were just in tears, and very nostalgic, sharing their memories and going on about how that studio raised them. And I didn't do that. I remember telling my friend about it, and he said, "You must feel very sad about that. You must feel, very upset. That's a hard thing to hear." And I realized that I actually wasn't. I was angry. And he heard that, like, he got the barrel of anger. Because I vented. I just suddenly exploded into anger. The reason for that is because, again, I've been going to that class for 8 years, or that studio for 8 years, taking classes. And I had auditioned for a lot of stuff in my time. And, you know, obviously, you're not going to always be the star of anything. You should never go in expecting them to hand you a role. Never. No matter where you go. Do not expect them to hand you a role. You could be Robert Downey Jr. And still, you should never expect to get a role. Never. That's arrogant. And, you know, there will always be someone who could be better than you. Always realize that. However, I'd been going there for years. I had really been working hard and trying to show the teachers who were often directors, you know, what I could do, and that I was growing, and that what they were teaching me was really sinking in, and that I could handle big roles. And I only got maybe one big-ish role ever in all the 8 years that I'd really been there. And throughout those 8 years, my friends would say, "Oh, that kind of sucks. Like, why didn't you get that?" I don't know. And I would just kind of shrug it off. My parents would say, "Well, who got the lead?" And I would tell them who got the leads, and they would say, "Huh, aren't you getting tired of not getting a role that you want? Isn't that a little frustrating? I mean, so-and-so has only been going for, 2 weeks or whatever, or maybe a month, and you've been going there for like 5 years." And I would, shrug it off and say, "Well, they were just better than me. Maybe next time." I kept telling myself, maybe next time. And that just kept building for years and years. Maybe next time, I'll do better. I will do this. I will do better. This is on me. I'll do better. There's next time. There's next time. There's next time. And now there is no next time. And so I got angry. That's such a horrible way to react when something that you love ends. Is to react in anger. And to just focus on the negative. And I did. In that moment, I didn't think about, the friends that I made. I didn't think about all the new things that I had learned. I just thought, I'll never get an opportunity to show them again. I'll never get an opportunity to do this or that. Another studio will never welcome me or see my potential like they did. I'll never get to show them. And I took that out on them. When, it could have happened anywhere, to anyone. In acting, people can be very biased. People can have, and sometimes it's okay. It's like kind of understandable because a director will have this vision in his or her mind. Like, I specifically want a certain type of person to fill this role. And so that's, who they'll hire. Or they will specifically seek out an actor and say, "I see you as this role." You will always have that. And it is hard for other actors who don't get, to experience that moment in the spotlight. It's hard on them. Everybody kind of goes through a period of frustration. Any actor can go through that. It's not, it's a negative way to react, but at the same time, it's kind of healthy to get that out there in a safe way. It's okay to rant, it's okay to vent, because that's something that was important to you. Now I'm sitting, cross-legged, and now I have to tilt you down, sorry. It's okay. Get it out. But there can always be other opportunities, I think. And at the time, I wasn't thinking about other opportunities. I wasn't really thinking about even what closing the studio really means to me. It doesn't really mean I'm not going to get any more acting opportunities. Of course it doesn't mean that. If there's a will, there's a way. If I can find a place, I can do it. If I can have the time, I will. What it really means is I won't have, these people that I've been growing up with and these people who taught me so much, I might not be able to see them as often. And I'm going to miss that. That's what I should have been focusing on. Rather than, I don't know, people take bad news differently. I rarely get angry. Usually I will just sob uncontrollably. But in this case, yeah, I think I let anger take a hold. I can't control what you guys do, but, change affects everyone differently, and I hope that you can learn from whatever I'm saying, and you won't be angry. And if you're sad, even if you're angry, let it pass in a healthy way. Let it out, let it pass, speak to someone, and then be able to move on. Because change, it's hard, but it can bring forth a lot of good. I'm trying to tie this up into a lesson or something and be, I don't know, be Mrs. Doubtfire and have like a lesson of the day. But, I guess really this is me telling you guys my feelings about this studio that meant a lot to me. So, yeah. I'm really going to miss the people there. I'm going to miss the opportunities. I did a lot of great things. My last play was Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. My first and last Shakespeare there. It was Romeo and Juliet, and it was wonderful. I wouldn't have changed that for the world. We had a wonderful cast family. We had a lot of great ideas from the director and from the cast itself. The most beautiful set in the world, which, we didn't think we'd be able to make. We made, all of us. We chipped in and we made that set. And we made our weapons. We designed our weapons. Man, like that. I think that set, the set from Romeo and Juliet, was the last set that the studio really made come to life. That was the best. And let's see. My first show there was actually this show called Sneetches and Other Stories. And my first acting teacher was the director. And she had all these little Dr. Seuss stories lined up where we would play different characters and, tell this, interweaving story about, a man hearing all these Dr. Seuss stories and becoming a child at heart again. It was amazing, and I was 13 and very awkward. But I had experience with puppets from my my speech team days, so I got to play the Onceler's arms. I just got to move them around in a very puppety manner, and I don't know, that was fun. My big role that I had, my one big role that I had was Violet Beauregarde from Willy Wonka. And I can still remember the song that she sings in Willy Wonka Jr. And I'm not going to sing it now because it's in a terribly twangy southern accent. Because Violet Beauregarde in Willy Wonka Jr. is southern. But that was my big role, and I was very proud of that. One of my favorite plays to be in. Actually, I think I have three. Three of my favorite plays, not counting Shakespeare, because I think Shakespeare is a little too close in my timeline for me to say, oh, that's my favorite. But besides Shakespeare, my three favorite plays that we ever did was Sleepy Hollow. I was like a background character, but I loved that cast so much. I made so many friends in that cast, and we had so much fun, and it was just such a cool ride. We made this huge bridge that you could actually go up steps and walk across. Oh my gosh, it took up the entire stage, but it was such a cool set piece. So Sleepy Hollow. We did a concert version of Nightmare Before Christmas. That just elated me, and I doing that show made me realize just how intricate and difficult the music to that movie really, really is. Oh my gosh, like, whenever you're doing rehearsals, they'll split you up, sopranos over here, altos over there, and then, so on and so forth. We could have been separated at the other end of the theater and still would have mixed up who was singing what because it was difficult to do. But it was so much fun. I was a witch. I was one of the two witches who says, "You make walls fall, Jack." Oh, that was so fun. I had the green makeup on and everything. It stained my dress, but it was so much fun. Even if it was just a concert version, we didn't have blocking or anywhere to go. We just stood there, but it was so much fun. My third favorite was Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde is such a special show. The music is so excellent. I first listened to it because I wasn't sure if I wanted to audition for it. I first listened to it like, wow, this is really kind of twangy and kind of, I don't know, it's very southern. I don't know if I want to be mixed up in this, the corny lines or anything like that. Is this really, I don't know. Because I hadn't heard much about Bonnie and Clyde, and just listening to little snippets of the music was kind of like, I don't know. But I auditioned for it, and I got a part, as a background character. Oh my gosh, that show was just so fun. And it's very addicting. Like, the music is very addicting. That music where I first listened to it was like, it's kind of hokey. I suddenly can't, I couldn't get it out of my head. Bang, bang, you're dead. Bang, bang, you're dead. Ain't nothing I can't do with a gun. Oh gosh, it was so good. And we had such a great cast. Like, the acting was so perfect. My favorite song to perform was God's Arms. It's this Southern Baptist song, and we had an excellent singer doing the preacher. He had excellent vocal range. So he would be leading the song, and the rest of us would kind of be like humming and oohing and like and it would just, in that Southern Baptist way, it would just build. God's arms are always open. He'll not turn you away. And then by the end of the song, it was God's arms always open, God's arms always open. Yeah, 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 yeah. And meanwhile, Clyde is stealing a car. He's, stealing a dress for Bonnie. They're getting away from the police. It was so much fun. I love that show. Those were my three favorite to be in. My favorite show to watch, because I didn't always get in. My favorite show to watch was when we did Chicago. I actually ran the sound for Chicago. Chicago, the studio doing the show made me love it. At first, I kind of didn't love it as much whenever I would just listen to the soundtrack, but seeing our people do it was great. It really was. My third favorite to watch was Three Murders and It's Only Monday. And my friend Naeem, who directed it, even said, I read the script and I thought this is the corniest thing ever. But then, he's like, I need to get the right cast for it. And he found like the perfect cast. And it was just like, just a bucket of laughs. Like everybody in the audience was just dying laughing. And then my third favorite was Jekyll and Hyde, which I was, at first I was actually part of Jekyll and Hyde, but I had to drop out, unfortunately. But when I went to see the show and I was like an actual audience member, oh my gosh, I almost felt happy that that I had to drop out. Almost. There's still part of me that wishes I could have, but I almost felt happy because I wouldn't have been able to see it in its completion had I just been, behind the stage the entire time as like a background character. I think this was a good video, guys. I think sitting down and talking about, my memories and the people, and what I love about it, I think that takes away any of the anger. It beats any of the anger that I had for not getting to participate in it anymore. I think that trumps all of it. I think that'll do it for this evening, guys. Thank you guys for listening. This is a long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you see any of these productions, or you get to be in any of these productions that I listed, do it. Go see it. Go be part of it. It's such a crazy ride. Acting is such a crazy ride, but it's so worth it. This is Archer with a Sword, signing out. Bye!